What's up, guys? How's it going? It's Sean here. Let's do a little tabletop review on the Kershaw Link. This actually came out back in 2015. It is a made in the USA knife, and I gotta say, this thing is really freaking sweet. Came out back in 2015. Everything on here is produced here in the USA. We have a 420 HC high carbon stainless steel. The carbon content on there is actually about 0.45, so I mean it's not like high carbon, but it's enough carbon to basically harden the steel and have it produce a decent edge. But it actually has a really fine grain because it's not really muddled up with all the chromium inside there, so you still get a really fine grained steel. It'll sharpen up really great, especially with the cryo treatment that a gentleman by the name of Paul Boss, maybe you've heard of him, helped pioneer for a company called Buck, because Buck has a 420 HC. And so these steels are all heat treated in basically the same facility, same standard. You get the same high quality to the edge here on this Kershaw 420 HC as you would with the Buck. I haven't noticed any difference between them. You get this kind of plastic grivery handle, maybe it's polyamide, I'm not sure. But it's great. It's got some contouring to it. The pocket clip is actually parkerized, so you see it doesn't chip off. It's not painted. And just the blade shape itself is awesome, where you get this nice gentle belly that goes all the way through. Kind of a awesome little sheep foot thing going on here. Almost like a Warncliffe. If you are familiar with Kershaw, basically they have ZT, which is the higher line of their brand. And there's a knife they have called the ZT770. I'm not sure if I've done a video. Maybe I have done a video on it in the past. And this blade actually looks very similar to it, but here's the thing. The stock thickness of this blade is freaking awesome, and it's a hidden reason why this knife is such a high performance blade. And so also all the hardware is parkerized, and we get a really nice high quality American hardware inside there. Liner lock knife, you can de-assist it. It does have the detent hole drilled inside here and a little detent ball inside here, but you just don't get the good flipping action when it's been de-assisted. Excuse me. But yeah, the action on this thing is great. It fires out really hard. They have a few different versions of these, as well as that higher end one that they came out with this year, but you can look those up on your own. Let's kind of talk more about the 420 HC. Now, it's just not going to have the best edge holding, but that doesn't mean that it's complete garbage, because there's an advantage and disadvantage to everything, right? So here we have some 2-inch manila rope. If you're not familiar, 2-inch manila rope is just a bear to cut through. I hate cutting through it. I don't like it at all. But the edge on here is very sharp. Let me see if I can go ahead and pull out a piece of paper and show you guys what we're working with here on this edge. I think this paper is a little bit damp. Let's get another piece. Jeez. See, we're making some decent cuts inside the paper. Let's go ahead and give it some cuts here. And the ergonomics are great. You've got this nice handle right here, and your thumb just feels like it wants to lock right here. No jimping on here that's going to tear your hand up. So I like that a lot. So we made our first cut here. It wasn't too bad. Second cut, I already noticed on the second cut that we're just not doing as good. Oh. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, it's horrible to cut this stuff. And let's do the third cut. I think all we have is a third cut, because I had to increase the force. What you guys can't see from this test is the force it takes to cut increases as the knife gets duller. So here we go. Notice how it's just rubbing on there now? And I have to add more force to get it to cut. So really, that's about all she has here. Let's go ahead and see if it'll still cut. But once you wear those teeth off, yeah, so we can see that still cutting, but definitely it definitely doesn't feel as awesome as it did for that first cut. Here's the beauty of the 420 HC. We've got one of those Hinkles. This is just a sharpening rod, honing rod, whatever you want to call it. It's got, if you look closely, all your sharpening rods, they're basically really fine files. That's how they work. A butcher's steel is actually smooth, but ones you find in your kitchen from the 20th century and so on basically have these really fine grooves in there to help realign the edge. So do it down here so you guys can see the motion. And this is like some old school hunter stuff, you know. They go in the woods, they'll bring one of these, it'll have a lanyard on it, and they'll have it on their little kit belt. And they'll strap up their 420 blades before they make some detailed cuts on an animal that they're butchering in the field. Alright, let's go ahead and test the edge some more on some paper. We could see, I mean, it definitely helped realign some, but there's still some damage there. Let's see if we can finish a cut, or see if we made any improvement to the cutting here. So we definitely went back to having some performance back on the edge. Let's see if we can make another cut here. We got a little bit of bite, you can hear it, but really I'm really having to add more force. So that helps some. Let's add some more pressure. Let's also go away. See if that helps. One of the beauties of having a round sharpening device like this is you don't actually have to lift the handle to follow the belly of the knife. You can just run straight off and it follows the contour of the blade. Alright, let's see where we are. Let's make our next cut. There we go. Back to cutting again. And let's see if we can make our... There we go. 2 cuts. Pretty cool, huh? Maybe not. Alright, just kind of a quick look here at the 420 HC and how it kind of behaves with something like these sharpening steels. Now, if we had a higher end steel, you just wouldn't be able to bring it back like this. But with a higher end steel, you wouldn't even need to use this thing that I'm holding in my hand. So I hope that helps really for some people out there that are trying to make a decision as far as like if they want to spend more money on a higher end steel versus having something like a 420 HC. We'll have to probably do a side-by-side comparison on that. But basically, if you have 30, 40 bucks to spend on a knife, I feel like the Kershaw Link is definitely a high-quality blade to get for sure. I mean, you can see, look at that. I mean, we're able to just really bring that edge back, and it's just so thin behind that edge right there. Let's see how thin. Do I have my micrometer around here? I do. Go ahead and turn that on. Have that set on inches. See, I think that's millimeters. Let's put it back here. That's on inches. And let's just kind of look and see. Run it down. Yep, so it looked like we got about 20 hundredths just behind the edge here. So there we are behind the edge. So yeah, real thin, but you could see, I mean, at the top of the grind here, we're basically at 1/10, and then it grinds down to 20 hundredths. So good stuff compared to this hollow grind knife. Let's check this one out. Come down. And yeah, we're about 19 hundredths on the Buck 110. Cool. Alright guys, we'll do more detail later. We'll clean this mess up. Thanks for watching.